Hello and welcome back to How My Garden Grows. Today I'm going to talk about onions, specifically growing onions from seed. You can always buy the little, bulbs or starts that they have in the big box stores, but I really get frustrated with the fact that you only get like 3 varieties. They always have a white, a yellow, and a red, and that's it. I like to have a lot more variety than that, and the way you get that is by growing them yourself from seed. Now, onions do take a long time, so you do want to start them indoors 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost date. Where I am in Zone 6, that is April 15th for me, so I had to start these suckers in January. I'm going with 4 varieties, three varieties of onions and 1 variety of leeks. With onions, it also depends too on whether you go with day neutral, long day, or short day. In Zone 6 where I am, I'm kind of right on the borderline between day neutral and long day. So I've actually got both here. My day neutral onions are the Southern White Globe. I haven't done this one before from Baker Creek, but so far it's growing really well and I'm very happy with it. And that's going to be a storage onion for me. Also, the Australian Brown, which always has really good reviews on their website, and I'm really excited to grow this one. That is also a storage onion for me. So these 2 are going to be the ones that are going to be put up for the winter. We use a lot of onions in cooking. We love onions in my house, so we're hoping to grow quite a few of these guys. Now this one, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Ailsa Craig. This is a long day onion, so this one is going to need a little bit longer daylight than the other 2, and I don't know if this one will end up growing as big as you see it in some pictures. I mean, you see some of them where they're like really giant softballs. I don't know if it's going to grow that big in my area, but we're going to try and we're going to see how it does. I am also growing leeks, which are basically in the same class, just a little bit different. Going with the giant Muselberg. I've grown different varieties before. This is my first time growing that variety in particular. Now, when choosing onions, like I said, it's important to go with where you live. If you grow a short day onion when you're above the 35th parallel, you're going to end up with stringy onions that never really bulb out. They're not going to really give you what you want. And so you really want to go with what's appropriate for your area. And that might seem a little stifling, but you're still going to get so much more variety with seed than you would with whatever sets you can find at the big box store. So today I'm going to be transplanting. I like to broadcast plant with my onions in a tray, and then later I end up moving them over to a bigger pot. I'll actually move that in a minute. And then I take these little guys and I space them out just a little bit more in the bigger pot. So I'm going to be doing that today and giving some of them a little haircut because you want to keep them, some people say 2 inches. I'm going with 3. Seems like 2 to me would be a little bit too short because you want them to get a strong root system before you start taking these guys outside. So I'm going to reposition the camera and we can start transplanting. Okay. Now, what I've got here, I use pretty big pots. You want to go with one that's at least 4 inches long because despite the fact that, what they produce is fairly close to the surface, they have a surprisingly long root system. And you want them to get that as strong as possible before you have them start to root out. Now, I've got these all in coconut coir, which is pretty loose and friable, so it's really easy to just kind of loosen them up and they come right out. Then I come over here and I make sure I get a nice deep hole wiggled in there, and I just very, very gently get the roots pushed down into that hole. Just as gentle as I can. I occasionally I do break a root, but really not that often. And if I do break one, it's not gonna kill it. So I just very gently get that pushed down in there, and then I come over here and push the soil in, get it tamped down nice and tight, as much as possible. There you go. And with these, I'm doing 9 to a pot, 3 rows of 3. I did, when I first transplanted, I did a 16, And it just seems too crowded to me. I want to give them a little bit more space than that so that they have good airflow, so that I don't want any mildew or anything like that growing in here. I want to give them as much space and as much room to grow as possible while still conserving overall space for my planting area, because I'm going to have a lot of stuff under these lights. It is important with onions that you do have bottom heat. They're going to love that. They're going to grow really, really well. Like I said, you have to start them 10 to 12 weeks beforehand. And for these particular onions, because I have intermediate day and long day, I need to have these lights on for 12 to 14 hours. Intermediate day won't care, but the long day onions will. And they will not bulb if I have these onions on too short of a light. And at some point soon, I'm going to be hardening these guys off and maybe moving them to a cold frame, because my tomatoes and peppers are going to have different light needs, and it's going to be a little bit more complicated trying to get them all in under the same set of lights when they all have different light needs. So that's 3 of them. And the ones I am transplanting right now are the Ailsa Craigs. They grow really super strong. I am really loving this, and I really hope they turn out and produce for us this year. I will certainly keep you updated, and I cannot wait to see how my garden grows this year. Thank you very much.